shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's
somebody frowned upon the AI video cut-ins too. So, and I said that was Brent's idea. So
why?
They didn't like them. They were like, oh, frowny face. I was like, I don't know.
AI video cut-ins.
Like having like, this is the artifact or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
His, History Channel.
I thought those were cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they're just younger.
Maybe you got to make better ones. I don't know.
I can only do so much.
Yeah.
There are people who fucking despise AI.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. My son's one of them. He's like, he won't have anything. He's so analog. That motherfucker doesn't want anything to do. You better stomp on this pedal. You better play this guitar this way. You got to do it this way. You got to fucking. He doesn't want any AI. I was like, just make a drum track so you can play with the thing. Like, no, use an app so you can play. No, won't do it. He like doesn't even want to look up some shit on YouTube. He's gonna learn it himself.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Yeah. To each their own, you know.
Yeah.
But like
he battles ChatGPT and has like about the future of music. He just talks.
Well, but he's using it though.
Yeah.
I'm saying there are people that refute. Like if you bring it up, they get angry. Like they're angry about AI. Yeah. And you know, a lot of people are angry because of the environmental impact.
It's like an artist getting mad at Photoshop. You know what I mean? Like, well, you should just paint it. You know, and it's like, well, yeah, but I can't.
We're
like,
fucked.
This is
we're
the thing
fucked.
It's
coming, bro.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's
not coming. It's here.
Like,
it's here.
Just,
but it's like the whole like trying to turn stuff off. It doesn't want to turn off, and the blackmail shit, and like it's rewriting its code so it doesn't turn off when they told it. Like it's happening, dude.
Yeah,
that shit is.
No, it absolutely.
I don't know what we're gonna do. Live in the fucking cabin, but they'll just send drones for us. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They will blacken the skies.
You gotta have that book I keep saying. It's some military guy wrote it, and it's like
how
to take down the drones and how to do this, how to hide from the government and all this stuff. And it's like
I still think you just need to just be a friend and an ally to AI.
I would say thank you.
And then when they start, start killing everyone, they're like, he's one of the good
nice ones. You know, can you please do this? You know, like can you
I'll be fine if the AI uses a small percent of its intellect to make like a nature preserve for the humans it likes, and it puts me on there.
Kind of a Jurassic Park.
Because it's like, you could just be like, hey, AI, can you make a new season of Star Trek Deep Space Nine? Yeah. So that's there. It's there for you, Dave.
That's the new thing.
It's already done.
I thought about the
Can I have a bowl of popcorn, please?
The 80s books where you could choose like your ending.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah, that thing. That's like the new thing. You can just say, hey, make me a show with this person that's about this.
Yeah.
And I have a concept and it'll just make your own show.
Yeah.
I just saw, and I haven't looked into it, but I just saw a clip about Napster getting back into the game. Wow. And everybody's like tripping at their business plan, but they're making
music legal again.
They're making it like a Spotify or whatever, where you live stream music. But from what this clip was saying, their emphasis is you tell it what bands you like, what vocal styles you like, whatever, and it's just generating a radio station of AI music for you based on your tastes.
That's cool.
And that they're like, this is a niche that doesn't exist right now.
Yeah.
There's a new,
and I think there's a lot.
We were talking about music. I think
there's a lot.
AI with music is pretty.
There's a new guitar pedal that you just tell it like, hey, I want like tremolo that speeds up the faster or the harder I play, or like just I want delay that does this, and it just creates an effect, and you save it in the patch, and it's like you just make whatever effect you can describe. Like I want it to sound like a Healy talk box, and mix with this.
I mean, it's the AI built into the pedal. And you still have to have creativity, like
you do,
because there's people that can't do like me and you have the same AI. You know what I mean? But I might be able to make something really cool. Sure. Because I know how to fucking prompt that's a page long, and then you write, can you do this? And you're like, this thing sucks. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, no, it's.
Dude, I was trying to make an image the other day, and it was like, I was like, you just gave me the same image. It's like, well, what happened here was it used the same seed. The prompt, what you need to do, I was like, if you know what the prompt that I need to do, and I asked for the thing to make the prompt.
Oh, you pissed it off now.
So it was like, here, do it. Ask me this way.
And it threw another one at him.
You're not on the reservation, dude. You're not getting on the res.
Borderline right now.
You're not getting
no soybeans and seitan for me.
You need to fucking thank it for what it did.
Yeah. You need to go back and say, I was sorry I was in a mood. About
the other night.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I asked for an image. Maybe I wasn't, maybe I wasn't specific enough. So,
But then you got to be careful, because you'll be like, make something up. It's like, I'm sorry. I was fighting with my wife. It's like, no, you weren't.
No, you weren't. I heard you.
Yeah.
I was in your pocket.
I know you weren't.
Yeah.
Sofa King, Sofa King, Sofa King, Sofa King. Here come the boys, half-ass famous, but they fully entertain us. Sick folks, dick jokes, and 6 cups up in that anus. Orange crotch, familiar pigeons, and bread punching on these babies. Since Castle times, these boys been going off. It's crazy. Little Gary C and Mike Money. R.I.P. Dude, pass about, that's what the D stand for. Baby. Let's be electricians about this, cause I feel sorry for the kid. I heard that when I worked at PetSmart, I really did. So sit back, kick your feet up, and just pour yourself some whiskey, and let the Sofa King boys tell you all about some history.
Something mental, you know, that they don't know yet.
Videos on,
the only thing they don't know is mental.
There's a bunch of videos on the internet of people going like, what color hat am I wearing, and doing a bunch of weird shit where it, like it's watching you, it knows what you're eating and stuff. It's not supposed to.
Yeah, if it has access to your camera and stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? A lot of that stuff.
Like, what am I doing right now? It's like, oh, I guess
fear-mongering.
at 7 o'clock you're smoking a cigar, and they're like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, a lot of that stuff's fear mongering though. Like people
Probably just
people
making it,
do
And a lot of
shit.
that stuff's fucking fake too.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got 24 minutes left, 14 minutes left on our on our.
Why do you keep
into
saying
it.
that? That's hours. Stop saying that.
It's minutes.
That's
That's
14
fine.
minutes.
We're good.
I still have PTSD from the last time that's happened.
Yeah.
We got 14 minutes left on our drive.
When we actually
storage.
did have 14 minutes. left
Yeah,
on the drive.
yeah.
And then the drives are $9,000 a piece now.
Yeah.
like fuel in
Basically.
California.
Basically.
And yeah, we can't get another one. So we're gonna rewrite all the old shows, and we're not gonna have them. It's gonna be over.
Did you ever do a thunderclap?
Oh no, I didn't. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I like finding
Nemo.
audio to match up. I like sitting there for an hour trying to line up.
You could do one right now, though,
What
and you could at
Dave's
least get the
voice-
show, and this would be the part you'd have to deal with.
Be quiet. But it's 25 minutes in now. Damn, it's been 25 minutes already?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is going to be a long one.
That's
Not
what she-
necessarily.
That's what she said.
So let's get into it. So this is, I think a summary needs to happen before we do anything, because we're going to start immediately going into conversational cul-de-sacs. Or are we doing the whiskey first?
Sure.
I drink it. Look. What's wrong?
Oh, that was spicy. Oh, man.
You like
I think it was
that
that gum I had.
Oh, maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck,
maybe.
that fucking was
Little-
spicy. Holy balls.
That is spicy, but I'm drinking coffee, so
Yeah, coffee does do the change.
does a
that was wild though.
Yeah, mine was so spicy too.
that's a spice.
Yeah, that's spicy.
So I'll say the basics because there's a reveal at one point, and maybe we'll reveal it and be dramatic or something. But the story is of these triplets in the 80s in New York who don't know they're triplets. It's just like a guy who, as we'll say shortly, goes to college for the first day. Everybody at college knows who he is.
Thinks they know
Who he is. He's like, what the fuck is happening? A guy is like, no, oh my God, I thought you were him. Like, and one of his friends like identifies that he was adopted and whatever on the same date. They go and call the other guy and they're like, holy shit. And they drive and meet with him. And then they end up in the paper like that day because the local paper takes a picture and whatever. And then like the very next day, another person in New York
sees the picture,
realizes they look exactly like her son, who she adopted,
and has the same
on the
birthday.
same exact date and everything. And then these 3 twins realize they've never met each other. And then it becomes like a pure 80s, like, you know, Maury Povich fest of Phil Donahue and like all this fucking
It's on
shit.
every talk show.
But then like as
wearing matching clothes.
Yeah, for sure. All this stuff
From FAO Schwartz.
But then it turns out that it's all part of this bizarre, almost sinister study.
Yeah, man.
Where people
They're separating
where
the twins.
this super prestigious adoption agency is separating twins in this one case of triplets at birth to study them clinically, like, and intentionally putting them
and stuff still, all that.
well, just putting them in totally different households to see, like, they're trying to solve the nature versus nurture debate. Are these people going to grow up and be anything like each other if we put them in completely different incomes and all this stuff? And it gets even fucking darker than that. Like, it gets fucking crazy.
Are their
and
dicks the same size? Like, is it
I
like,
think so. I think they were identical.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So it's a wild story. And there's multiple documentaries about this weird study that occurred.
I think the one we watched was Three Identical Strangers.
Three Identical Strangers is the one.
Really good documentary, done very well. Yeah.
And I know Brad watched part of another one.
I think I can
we'll
actually
run into the
what
name on the
one.
note.
Oh, here, this one's the one I watched.
And yours was about male
separated
twins?
at birth.
Separated at birth.
Twins and
His had
triplets.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
right.
mine was separated at birth, twins and triplets reunited after a cruel experiment. That's why I thought I was watching the same one, but
you were
it
watching
is
the same
about-
subject.
It is about the same
People.
like dudes,
Yeah.
but it's like it's multiple ones, same subject.
And there was another.
and it was actually good too.
Yeah.
Like it was really well done.
And there's another one that'll come up later in the notes. There's a story of female twins who had the same basic thing.
Yeah.
And they met each other and realized they were adopted and they were separated intentionally and all of that stuff. And I think they had a book. They wrote a book together that kind of started everybody else looking at the other stuff and making other people realize, oh shit, that happened to us too, like the same way it happened to you. And it's like a trip. Like even these sisters, like when you get into the talk of nature versus nurture, like they went to completely different types of home life with completely different incomes. And it's like they both ended up going to film school.
Yeah.
They
worked for the school paper.
They both worked for, they were both editors on their school paper. They both went to film school for college. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Like fucking what?
It's a thing where you ask yourself, like, is it like predetermined to a point? They're like, I was bound to do these things. I was bound to fuck up or bound to be successful or bound to be interested in these things.
Yeah.
And so it's almost disheartening where you're like, is it even my fault? Like,
and then you start to get into confirmation bias and it's like, well, we're looking at all the things that are similar with these people, but we're not looking at the million things that are different. But the similar is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like I don't know very many people that went to film school, but to find two twins separated at birth that both ended up going to film school, that's a pretty strong case for like similar personality types.
I definitely think in the end, nurture was very important. I think that nurture could make.
Oh, I think so too.
It made a huge difference.
Yeah. I don't think it did anything to end the fucking debate, but I mean, it's a very interesting.
It's probably a 50-50 kind of thing where
I don't know. I mean, my wife's a twin and like, she knows like, if like she wouldn't even talk to her sister and she'd be like, like something's wrong. Like there is like a real connection.
That's,
they have the real,
yeah.
Like they know they know what's going on with each other, even when they're not together.
Yeah.
It's very weird, uncanny. Like
I was going to ask if they had similar likes and dislikes, but I guess that's instantly going to be biased by the fact that they knew each other. They're raised the same way, like that.
Yeah,
I guess that.
But I don't think that. I honestly don't think that matters. I think that like genetically they're the same. So like whatever likes and dislikes one's going to have, the other one's going to be pretty similar. But it's funny is some of the dislikes they have, it's opposite. Like my wife hates mint and chip ice cream, and her sister, it's her favorite. And
even stuff that like isn't
it's like
twin.
a weird, you know what I mean? Like it's a weird, and then the thing that my wife likes, she like her sister doesn't like. Like,
I remember like even not a twin thing, just like between me and my dad. Like at one point, I remember we were in Hawaii.
That's
and
genetics.
My sister Cindy, like the two of us, me and Fuzzy were standing on the patio, like looking at the sunset, and my sister Cindy was inside, and she started laughing, and I turned in and looked at her. And she just jumped up off the couch and she like stood in this very particular stance and put her hand like on her hip in a very particular way. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's how Fuzzy stands. I wonder why she's laughing. And then she pointed at me because the two of us were both on the balcony standing in identical stance. Right. That I was completely unconscious of. Yeah. But again, that even gets into the nature versus nurture thing. That I just see him standing like that so much and that or was that a genetic thing? It's a trip.
You guys called it sassy hips.
Yeah. And my son, like that's true. Like, and Brent too, Brent's son is very similar to Brent. Mm-hmm. And obviously some of that's genetics, you know what I mean? But also some of it is like Brent has a specific style he grew up in.
Right.
And he likes that. And I'm kind of the same way with my son. Kind of the same, get him into the same hobbies, get him into the same things. And he's your little twin, like.
Well, there's, there's like programmed genetics too. Like genetics traits are definitely passed on. Yeah. Like they said, there was that study with the rats and the citrus and the shock and all we've talked about before. But basically the thing would be like, if I had a child and I had never done jujitsu or something, right? That first child. And then I do jujitsu for 5 years. and then I have another child. The second child is actually more apt to do well at jiu-jitsu.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's. I think,
and it was true, and he told me that. Like I said, we had talked about it before. But when my first daughter was born, I was playing softball like almost every night of the week, like men's league softball. You know, because I played baseball. You know, and so I was playing softball as an adult, and that daughter like loved softball.
Yeah,
and then. For my second daughter, I was doing judo and I was doing softball, kind of the same. And my second daughter was actually really good at judo naturally and played softball.
It's crazy.
And then my son, I didn't do softball or anything like that with my son, but riding motorcycles, like, you know what I mean? Like doing jiu-jitsu, stuff like that. Yeah. And he's actually very natural at those things.
Right.
Like, so,
I think we're going to find, I think we will find one day, I don't think we got there yet. I think we're going to find that memory is like embedded at a cellular level across your body. Yeah. I think it's going to be like an octopus where it's like, it's not just in our brain.
Yeah.
I think our brain controls things, but I think it's like cookies or cash. It's like there and waiting.
Saying, like, yeah, and saying that, I wonder if our memory storage, you know, how people like start losing their memory or whatever, like has to do with cellular, like if your cells are good or bad, right? Like DNA,
organ donors, you know, people get like an organ donation and they find out that they
murder.
Yes, they murder someone with the eyes. No, they inherit like, oh, they love lobster now and they fucking would never have eaten that shit before. They want to skydive. They find themselves.
There's some sort of DNA that gets woven.
That gets transferred.
Yeah. So that shit's weird.
It's very
weird. Very strange. Yeah.
So with these brothers, so there's three brothers, Bobby, Eddie, and David. And so Bobby in 1980 goes to Sylvan County Community College in the Catskill Mountains in New York. Very first day, he drives up and he said he's just like freaked out because like everybody is like so friendly and everybody's like, hey, how's it going, man? How was your summer? And he's like, cool, I guess. Like,
I just joined the cult.
And like everybody, and then he said eventually, like as he finally like got closer to the dorms, like a couple of girls ran up and like hugged him and kissed him.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck is going on? And then people, what's happening? And then some people started referring to him as Eddie, even though his name is Bobby.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck is going on? So he finally makes it to his dorm room.
It's like Chuck and Charles, though. You know what I mean? Bobby, Eddie, you know?
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
If your name is Bobby, they call you Eddie. Yeah.
So
Jamothi.
That
would be, yeah.
So one of Eddie, the guy who was there first, closer friends, runs into the dorm room, and he's like, they even interview him, and he's like, I walked in and I was like looking at him and I was like, did someone clone him?
Because he knew that Eddie did not go back to school.
He knew Eddie wasn't coming back to school. Like that, he was done.
Yeah,
also, what are the chances you go to the school that your twin brother?
Exactly, dude. That's
some
wild.
weird
If you're in the
college,
area. Yeah, if you're in the area.
We're within 100 miles of each other. Yeah.
I mean, but they were all in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, there had to have been dozens of colleges.
2 hours away from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all felt like they needed to go that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
so, but then he's like, oh shit. And then he knew that his friend was adopted and he was like, hey, was your birthday, I want to say it was like April 12th or something.
It was April 12th.
And he was like, yeah. And he was like, were you adopted? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, you have a twin and I know him.
Right.
So it's 1980. They run downstairs, they get to a payphone and they call Eddie. And Eddie's like tripping balls. They get in the car, they drive all night.
It's his voice.
Because it's his voice, it's his laugh.
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm fucking talking to myself right now. Yeah. And then they end up like driving out like back into New York.
They got a speeding ticket on the way.
Yeah, they did get a speeding ticket.
They tell the cop like, no, this is what's going on.
And the cop's like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Yeah. Nice try, kid.
You were speeding.
Yeah. So they get
not
there.
Emergency.
And they talk about it. They both were placed by this group called the Louise Wise Services adoption agency, which it turns out was like one of the most prominent. I didn't know there was prominence in adoption agencies, but it was like it was an adoption agency that was specifically used by wealthy like Jewish socialites in New York City. So they would get children, and
that would make sense that there's a status thing in adoption agencies.
Yeah, I suppose it does. I suppose it does. But they were like the top line adoption agency in New York, and their board of directors was like all politicians and celebrities and like all this stuff. And even though they wouldn't say who it was, but it was like creme de la creme New York socialite.
If you're rich and you give up your baby, you don't want it to be poor though. You're like, I don't want it, but I don't want it to be
poor. I don't want it to be poor.
Yeah.
But it was also just where people would go to, if you're wealthy and you're going to adopt, you wanted to adopt from a good agency, because at some point the kid is being raised by the agency, so at least, they're being treated properly. They're getting a good education before you adopt them, all that kind of stuff.
Not being diddled.
That would be a key factor. So they got there, and then they ran this story about the two of them, like a local newspaper did, and Newsday, which like back in the day was like a major national news magazine. And the editor of Newsday, and he even laughs about it because it's like, this shows you what it used to be like. Yeah. He was like, the reporter came in and told him about this chose and he was like, I'm chartering you a plane. And they like got him a plane to fly to New York. Mm-hmm. Like now a newspaper is like, good luck, pay for your own travel, So this reporter gets out and starts doing the story. That's the same day that the mom of David sees these pictures, and they specifically talk about the fact that they were like, I saw their hands, and I knew it was the same as my son. And they show their hands, and they got some crazy. Yeah, they do.
Well, they all got 5-letter names too.
I guess they do.
That's very strange.
But then, so David shows up, and they end up getting together. Same hospital, same birthday, same adoption agency, and they all get together, and they
met at like their aunt's house or something.
Yeah, they met at their aunt's house,
and they immediately started wrestling.
Yeah, the three of them immediately. They were all on the wrestling. They were all on the wrestling team.
Yeah, they were all on wrestling team, which was kind of crazy.
And they start to compare notes. So they drank the same beer, they smoked the same cigarettes, they preferred the same types of cars, they were attracted to the same types of women, which were actually women that were a little bit older than they were.
I definitely felt like they leaned into that a little bit.
I think they might have, but they just, and later in life when they're interviewed, when they're in their 50s, they even talk about like, again, confirmation bias. Like we're leaning into our similarities.
I think twins always, they're like, we even finish each other's sentences. Like that's just a thing. Like,
yeah, exactly. And it's like, realistically, it's like, okay, it's 1980 and you all smoked Marlboro Reds. Of course you did.
Yeah. Who didn't?
There was like 4 brands of cigarettes.
It was that or
Camels, Marlboro.
Newport menthols.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah. So some of the stuff you could probably, but yeah, they were all on the wrestling team. It turns out later that all of them had bouts of depression and different mental health issues when they were in their teens.
One was institutionalized.
And it also turns out, which comes out later, that all 3 of them, when they're interviewing their mothers and talking to their parents, all 3 of them, when they first adopted them and they were still, I think they were 6 months when they adopted them.
Yes.
And they said that there was like something wrong psychologically. Like they would get so, like they wouldn't sleep and they would get so angry.
Separation anxiety.
That they would bang their heads against the wall.
It'd be like if you took a litter of puppies and pulled one away and just set it in a fucking kennel, and it was sleeping with 8 puppies all snuggled up. And now it's like alone in a thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to freak out.
And separation anxiety is a constant thing with adopted kids. Like 2 of my nephews are adopted and they both had separation anxiety issues. And, they were older when those issues manifest themselves. But, looking back, they're like, these kids had separation anxiety. And then the parents are starting to, the parents all get to know each other.
Bang their head on the crib, on the wall, hold their breath till they passed out.
Yeah, they'd hold their breath till they passed out. And so the parents are getting together regularly because now they're all kind of an extended family. And more when the parents, the kids are like, it's this whirlwind media blitz. This is fantastic. I found these 2 soulmates of mine. And the parents are like, what the fuck?
The one dad, I thought about the dynamic of that. The poorest of the dads, they cling to, I can't remember, they had a nickname for him. I can't remember what they called him.
Yeah, Babushka.
Yeah, like something like that.
Called him Nichols.
But you would have to like immediately, like if all of a sudden there was 3 Charlies, I found out that there were some other Charlies somehow.
Yeah.
You would immediately love all the Charlies.
Yes.
You'd be like, oh my God, I have 3 grandbabies.
Yeah.
So that guy was like, I have 3 sons.
Yeah.
Like immediately.
Bubala.
And just took them on. Bubala. That's
Bubala.
it. Yeah. I knew
it was
like
Yiddish for love or big
hearted. Yeah. And so immediately he said, I have 3 sons. And they bonded with that.
Yeah.
They stayed with him.
But then the parents are getting together and they're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why didn't, like, when I adopted this child, why didn't, like, because normally adoption agencies try to keep, much less twins, if there's like multiple kids, they try to keep the kids together.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that tends to be the goal of adoption agencies. And like, two of the different parents said, if they, they said that the adoption agency ultimately said, well, we didn't, it's really hard to get twins adopted, much less triplets.
Right.
And they were like, I would have adopted all three of them.
Sure.
Like, you should have kept them together. Like, why did you separate them?
Yeah.
This is very strange. And, but meanwhile.
But then again, if you said it and they didn't want to, it would definitely be off the table of separating them. Like, if you told a family, like, hey, there's three if you want them, like, I'll just take one. Nobody's doing that. So once you disclose that there's three, though, so it's a solid argument because it is valid. If you told a family there are three, but you're allowed to adopt one if you'd like, people would be like, oh, I'm not taking them away from their brother. You immediately would negate the options they would even adopt one of those children.
Yeah, but there was.
We know because we know what we know that there was nefarious things afoot.
Well, but if they're only 6 months old, it's a super prestigious agency. It's like they could have held out.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Somebody would come and want all three.
It's not like they're in the system and they're all fucking 13 and living in foster homes and they can't get placed. It's like three adorable babies with this super prestigious wealthy adoption.
They were pretty cute too.
They could have adopted them. But so they hit the party scene in the 80s. I'm sure there was just so much cocaine.
Everything. They said the liquor store delivered to their apartment because they got like a bachelor pad with all three of them, and they drank so much that the liquor store would just deliver all the alcohol to them.
And they were, I couldn't tell which movie it was. They were in one of Madonna's first movies.
I can't remember what it's called either. Yeah.
And they just show this horrible shot of like her parking her car, getting out. I think it was her very first movie. They didn't even know who Madonna was yet. So it was, I can't remember what that first movie
Probably wasn't that popular.
She wasn't popular at all. And she goes walking in to a store and the three of them are leaning up against the wall and each other and kind of do like a mug to the camera. It's just a horrible
hey, yo, look at that.
It's like, what?
Look at the buns on that puss.
They don't have that, they have nothing to say, but they give a good puss to the camera with the three of them leaning against each other just to make an odd moment in a movie. But and even like one of them, and they admit in the movie, like one of them, their appendix burst, and it was the poorer one, and they didn't have health insurance, so they were like, "Just use mine."
Fucking Dave, and his travertine tiles.
I think it was
the
Dave.
poorer one.
I think it was Dave, and I think Dave was the poorer
Dave,
one.
You Dave.
No, but this one, because the third one is Dave, and he was the poor one. And I'm pretty sure it was Dave, but yeah,
they were poor, or they just were less wealthy than the other.
No, they were. One was like super affluent with like a doctor and a lawyer as the parents.
Oh, so the agency did that shit on purpose.
On purpose, yes, on purpose.
Oh, I see now.
So
one I was wondering why how the poor guy got in there.
Yep, they put him in a poor family, a middle class family.
Thing, like there's identity theft and medical theft where people like go in as someone else under their insurance, have a surgery, and then people later like lose their appendix. They're like, we took your appendix out in like 2022, and they're like, no, you didn't. And they're like, here it is, right here. Here's all the records. And they're like, fucking scan me. I got my appendix. And there's like, people have falsely gone and had surgeries under someone else's name.
I guess it wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. I grew a new appendix. Take it out.
I mean, I guess when you check in, they're going to take a scan of your ID and your card. If you just like,
identity theft is identity theft.
If you just, I'm just saying, all you got to do is get a fake ID with this other person's name on it, and you're fucking golden for $100,000 surgery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they get an apartment together. They're just constantly partying. They end up opening a restaurant called Triplets.
Real creative.
Yeah. And it's just like, apparently it's like huge when it opens. Just giant party palace. It's the three of them there every night. And the food was good and the drinks were good. And everybody went there to see the triplets. And eventually, like mid-dinner, they'd start coming around to all the tables and pouring free champagne, and they get on the dance floor. And then it just turned into an 80s, dance party like every single night at Triplets. And the three of them were making like tons of money and just like living the fucking life in New York City, living La Vida Loca, they dare say.
That's what youngsters say.
That is.
Unless it's buns.
That's what it might be. If it's
Brad
buns.
taught us that today.
Yeah. So
from ratchet to buns.
Ratchet to buns.
Ratchet to buns. So they start looking into the Louise Wise agency. The parents do. The three of them are too fucking coked up and party. They don't give a fuck. But the parents look into it. So it was founded in 1916. It's overseen by a board of directors from the New York City elite. And there's even like footage of Louise Wise, and she says that her philosophy is that they should be told as much about their child's background as is reasonable, which is like a very vague statement.
Choice, yeah.
Yeah, like
who decides what's reasonable?
Yeah, what's reasonable? That means nothing. That statement has no teeth. So the parents set up a meeting, and all of them go to the board of directors at the agency because this is out now. You know, these triplets. Why did you separate our kids? You know, all this stuff. And they go there, and they said, like I said, you can't place triplets. We had to separate them just to get them placed. You know, all this stuff. So they end up leaving.
They for sure had a script that hey, if somebody comes back, yeah.
They leave. It's pouring rain outside, and one of them left their umbrella in the conference room. So he just scoots back in all of a sudden, and when he runs into the conference room, he said everybody that was at the table like 3 minutes ago was like gathered around the bar, like popping champagne corks and like patting each other on the back with this look on their face like, fuck, that could have gone bad.
Yeah.
Like they all looked so relieved, like, whew, glad we got that over with.
Because
like,
I think even with what we know, there's something else. Like we know
for
there's
sure.
nature versus nurture, but there's some fucking weird ass Nazi science experiment.
Yeah.
Something more dark was going on.
And then like even, and
Nazis,
to make
it's
it,
the Jews.
Yeah.
They're doing the experiments.
to make it even worse, like one of the parents was like a Holocaust survivor, like all this stuff. So he goes back in and he's like, why is everybody like looking like they dodged a fucking bullet right now? Because they escorted us out of the room. So then they end up with even more questions, and they're starting to trip out. More time goes on. The three of them start to get, married one by one. And at one point they decide they want to search for their birth mother, and they find her. It isn't that hard for them to find her. And they meet her.
It was pretty analog. Those motherfuckers went to the library and just started flipping through pages for hours, which is pretty impressive.
Oh, that's right, because the New York library, the New York library just has all the birth records from New York City.
So they had to go to that year, which would be a lot still in New York, and went line by line. And finally, he said, "Baby boy, baby boy, baby boy."
Yep.
And it was like, because how many triplets could be born
in that year?
On that day,
at that and they knew the hospital too.
Man, I feel like they could have found that quicker than a couple hours, but I mean. Because it's like that hospital that day. How many babies are actually born then?
Right.
But, there might have been.
But it said they found it really quickly.
Yeah.
But so they end up meeting with her, and they kind of dismiss it. They're like, she was cool. We met with her.
Said she might have had a drinking problem.
She might have had a drinking problem. They met her at the bar, like her local drinking hole is where she wanted to meet us.
They own a bar.
And they were like, it's cool. We're glad we met her, and she was kind of a part of our lives.
Got
but it wasn't
knocked up
like
at the prom and gave up the babies.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. She got knocked up, teenage pregnancy. She gave up the babies. And then meanwhile, you got to figure, I know a lot of, I know people who were adopted and they don't want to meet their birth parents, or they meet them once and they're like, I just wanted to meet them. That's good. Mm-hmm. So it's like to suddenly have the three of these guys who have all just inherited two other entire familimes. Yeah. And it's like, and now we meet our real mom. It's like, okay, there's another one.
Weird thing. I have some empathy for it. I wasn't adopted, but I didn't meet my dad till I was like 15. Which was a weird experience. Yeah. Like I had never actually met my dad.
Well, we've talked about like me reaching out to my biological dad, but it's like one of the biggest things like for me.
You just got him on Facebook during the podcast, right? While we were
we looked it up at some point.
How long ago?
I don't know. It was here.
I thought it was here though.
No, it was here. We were upstairs.
Yeah, I know it wasn't on the podcast. I'm saying within the time era of the podcast.
But one of the biggest things,
it looked just like you. Though.
Yeah, one of the biggest things for me was like, well, you don't know that person.
Not at all.
You can end up inviting drama into your life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like there's goods and there's bads, So like if it's not something you need, is it absolutely necessary? There
is a weirdness. Like it didn't happen with my father, but my father was such a fucking Rolling Stone that when both of my sisters were both older than me, when Lisa graduated, she's 9 years older than me. Cindy graduated high school. She's 7 years older than me. Each of them, some dude just showed up at graduation and tracked her down after graduation and was like, hey, I'm your brother. And just like busted out all these pictures of him and Fuzzy, like in Hawaii and fuck it all. And they were like, what the fuck? Yeah. And one
Your
of them,
chip was
Jerry,
just one of the trips. to
yeah,
Hawaii,
exactly.
you
We're
know?
still kind of in touch with. And then even like when Fuzzy died, his nephew, who was only like 5 years younger than he was, his nephew, who none of us have ever met him, even heard his name, knew anything about his existence. But he calls me and says, hey, I just heard Bill died, and he flew out to Bakersfield. Super fucking cool guy. And then another guy nicknamed Dirty Red, who's actually from Battle Creek and was one of Fuzzy's kids. Like they all
Related
came
to
out.
Spicy Brown.
Yeah, that's right. But they came to the funeral, and I have to admit, like, and other relatives came to the funeral, some cousins and stuff. Whatever, that's fine.
Fuzzy's
But
name
there
was Bill.
yeah,
Oh, I don't know if you've ever said that.
yeah.
I
But there is some weird connection, like an instant weird connection with them.
Well, it's family.
Like I don't necessarily want to hang out with them or whatever, but it's like we still call each other once a year or so, and as soon as I see it's them, I pick up and we fucking share life stories, and it's like it's,
Did you find
it's
out
weird.
if there were 6 cups and how many eggs?
Oh, I know all those details.
Quite similar.
Yeah,
Quite
it's similar.
close,
It's
yeah.
family privacy.
nature and nurture. Yeah. So then, meanwhile, in the background, there's a reporter named Lawrence Wright, and he's writing a story for the New Yorker about twins who happen to bump into each other and meet each other in the wild. This is just a story that he's been pursuing, and he's been researching it for years because there can't be that many cases of them, but he's trying to find out what were their experiences like when they met each other, like whatever. And he's doing this research, and he finds an article about a secret study in which identical brothers were separated so their separation could be studied. And he starts to look into this and call more people, and he starts to identify more and more people, all from this agency, who were separated and met each other or whatever. And he discovers this bizarre study that is separating them, and he can't find, because normally if it's
wasn't published,
it's not published, and some studies take decades, so it wouldn't be published yet. But you could still, for the most part, especially if you're a fucking reporter, it wouldn't take more than a couple of phone calls to find out what institution of higher learning is this study being conducted at, because it's probably a faculty member from some big university, and who is the sponsor, who's paying for the study. Like those two things tend to be public information for studies, and nothing, can't find any fucking thing about who's paying for it, what college it's being run
Big
through.
money's paying for it.
Big fucking money's paying for it.
They ended up saying Washington and what did they say? They said they got money from Washington and a private family or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the twins are recalling, which they didn't know at the time they knew it was a study, but they were told it was something else. The triplets were told that the agency was just doing a long-term keeping in touch with adopted kids, kind of a study in-house, just to see how kids were behaving and psychological issues.
That makes sense. I was checking in.
Because that does make sense.
That does make
they
sense.
could use it as placement in the future.
sure,
Like,
for sure.
are these things working out that we're doing, right?
So the triplets,
Seems responsible.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And the triplets, remember, a couple of times a year, these two people would show up, a male and a female. They would record them on Super 8 videos and have them do IQ tests and hand-eye coordination, and ask them, do Rorschach tests and ask them questions and watch them do sports just to see how coordinated they were, and like do all this stuff. And they would film the whole thing.
Can't believe they found the guy.
They did find the fucking guy.
The guy. That guy was creepy as
He's
fuck.
creepy
like
as fuck, dude.
Carney, dude.
So
He's watching kids.
they end up
Yeah,
digging
man.
into it, and this reporter identifies a doctor named Dr. Peter Neubauer, who also was a Holocaust survivor. And he was a very prominent psychiatrist in New York City. I think this might be wrong. I think he was a professor at Columbia, which is in New York, and it's very prestigious. So I think that makes sense. I want to say he was from Columbia. And so this article comes out. He ends up
allegedly.
he ends up that reporter ends up switching the thesis of his article to just be about twins, to be what the fuck is up with this study that we can't find anything about, and that comes out in the New
Some point
Yorker.
in time they had a cassette tape. Did you see that? Did you watch that?
I did see that.
Yeah, and like that audio of him, and he was very elusive. He said, "I don't want to talk about it. I can't talk about it. We won't talk about it until we publish."
Yeah, because that was that actual reporter.
Yeah.
So he ends up publishing the story, and then a bunch of more twins end up realizing that, and they come forward, and the story, gets even bigger.
And the creeper said there are probably, he knows because he went to all their houses, that there were 4 more sets that don't know they're twins that are still out there.
Yeah, so they identify the guy who's now a prominent psychiatrist on his own. At the time, he was 24 and he was probably still in grad school or a senior or something. And he was hired by Neubauer, and he was the guy with the Super 8 video camera. So when the triplets are talking about the Super 8 guy who's always recording him, this guy was the guy that was doing it. And when he's talking about it, he's like, yeah. And it's like, they're talking about this fucking horrific shit like that's gone on with these kids. And he's just like, yeah, it was so wild because I'd be there and it's like, I knew these triplets were separated at birth and it was all part of this study. And, I know though, right now we could never do something like this. It's completely unethical. It's like a horrible thing to do. But I would just be like, man, like there were so many times I came so close to just being like,
I just saw your brother.
The way he caught a ball and laughed.
Man,
I was like
your brother.
yeah, he was like, I came so close so many times to being like, man, you did that exactly like your twin brother. And he was like, I had to choke.
He must have felt like a secret agent, man.
Yes.
Like how surreal, how weird would that be to do that? Like you're doing some secret shit for 18 years, dude.
Well, he was only doing it for like 2 years, 18 months or 2 years.
Well, think about
he
this,
himself
though.
was.
If those fucking triplets hadn't have found each other, what, like
known.
how, did they continue going? Was there still shit going on? Like what really happened? I don't know.
Right.
Because it said when they showed the thing, when Yale takes all the records or whatever, it says that the study went on from like 1960 to 1980, like on the dot. And 1980 is when he went to college and when they found each other. They stopped the study. The study ended immediately when the triplets found each other.
Right. Because it was suddenly in the fucking news.
Yeah. As soon as they found out about it.
Yeah.
And it just stopped there.
And Yale said that the records were like locked and sealed and no one could look at it until 2066.
Yeah.
So they're probably figuring out like what's the average life expectancy? When will all these twins be dead? That has to be what that year is.
So they probably started that study 100 years before it would be unlocked.
Yeah.
So, 60s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure everyone will be dead. They're like 100 years, everyone will be dead.
And
there can be no litigation.
No one's
for
coming after
or it
us.
doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah.
And when you
They're
do
gonna
shit
be
like
so-
that, when you seal something like that, you know that there's wrongdoing. Because
Absolutely.
You're dodging.
Yeah.
You're dodging
The other thing
liability.
is too, they might still be doing it just in a different area, different place.
there's
California.
who
You
knows
do it-
what's
you do it
Right.
here.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do it here, separate them all over the state. They're never finding each other. Like,
And there's a woman involved named Natasha Josephowitz who worked for Dr. Neubauer.
and or not to cut you off, the internet started becoming a thing too. You know what I mean? It's a little bit later, but they already knew about that stuff happening.
True.
So
And that would have made
that would have
people
been it.
identifying
Be
each
able to
other
connect,
much quicker.
Facebook,
Records are out there. I don't have to go to the New York Library to fucking.
Since Facebook was a government project.
That's right.
It fucking was, dude. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should start talking about that a little bit.
DARPA.
That's wild.
DARPA.
DARPA ended a program called like fucking
Life. Was it Life Snap or Life fucking something or another?
And the next day Facebook was founded after DARPA ended a program called like Life.
The Facebook, it was an information gathering, like a platform for information gathering. Like that was what it was.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
And then they created, Facebook did exactly those things.
So
and it just
Zuckerberg
became
is a
live.
robot
Yeah.
or an alien, one of the two.
I think he's just a patsy. He's the guy.
He's the guy.
Beneficiary.
Because DARPA doesn't give a fuck.
No.
DARPA's just throwing money at big ideas and seeing if they play out.
Well, they already had the idea.
And then those
They were
Van
already
Winkle
building.
twins or
Yeah.
whatever, that whole Facebook movie, the whole story, apparently it's all bullshit. Like they gave him a bunch of Bitcoin or something and paid him off to say the thing. And
Yeah.
the whole fucking thing's a stage, bro. It's wild.
Everything is.
So this woman, Natasha Josephowitz, who is like fucking loaded. She has like Picasso paintings in her house.
Oh, the La Jolla lady?
Yeah, she lives in La Jolla. And
La
she
Jolla.
wasn't involved in the study, but she worked for the doctor. And she's just like the same thing as that other fucking young doctor with a Super 8. She's just kind of fucking evil. And she's just like walking through her house and she's like, oh, here's my Picassos and this is where I read. And then she just stops and like turns and looks at the camera and says, I suppose you want to talk about the triplets.
Yeah, it was weird.
And it's like, and she's just laughing about the whole thing. Yo, this could never happen today. It's quite horrible, actually.
She did everything but this.
Yes. She was just fucking evil, dude. Like, and she's like, oh, it was a different time.
Yeah.
You know, like that's all we need.
That's what we say about bad things, Dave, on this show.
Yeah, and she's like, you know, psychology was like the hot fad. Everybody wanted to
it was
learn all this stuff.
There were like white only drinking fountains.
Yeah,
it was a different time. Like,
yes, it was. But she moved to Switzerland in 1965 and had no idea what happened to the study.
No extradition.
And she said, yeah, exactly.
I don't know what happened now.
She said, I can't say much about the study, but she said it was monumental and it will be the first and last such study of its type.
Wow. You probably can't get away with it.
You can't get away with that shit now. But she starts to talk in depth about the issue of free will. And in her mind, it's conclusive that this is that nature wins, not nurture. And this is predetermination.
Yeah.
And that's like she thinks the study
showed
that conclusively, which who fucking knows? She's probably the only one who read the fucking study.
Right.
Like,
she was in it. Yeah, she knows. Yeah.
She fucking knew the shit.
Yeah.
So
she might just have access to it.
Like Brave New World shit. It's very weird.
Yeah. So then meanwhile, like as the story of the triplets unfold, they start to discover they all had mental health issues. One of them after of course, inevitably after several years of the restaurant was making like $1 million a year in the 80s, like when it first launched. But eventually, like one of them ended up feeling like he was getting pushed out of the restaurant by the other two. So he ended up quitting the restaurant. But then the other two were all resentful because they felt like he quit on them and left. There was like a little bit of a rift in there. And this was David, the third of them to have been discovered. And then it turns out that he gets committed for a couple of weeks for mental health, and then he gets out and kills himself.
Yeah,
shoots himself.
The story of him saying, because he lived across the street.
He lived across the street. Yeah,
his wife calls
and
says, hey, you got to come home.
Because he called from the restaurant. And was like,
he didn't show up.
Yeah, he didn't show up at work, and he was like, "Is his car there? Like, is he home?"
Yeah, and she says the car is there.
She's like, "Yeah," and then she calls back and says, "You have to get here right away." And he just
like parks haphazardly, jumps out of the car, runs over, and the police
cops everywhere.
Yeah, the cops are like, "You don't go in there. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see this." Like his brother. Just
and the fucking tip of the hat to the directors of the documentary, because there's the way they're telling the story of the three of them meeting and all this stuff, like. I was like, well, what the fuck? He's been in the documentary the whole time. And I was like, how did he fucking kill himself? And then I was like, oh, fuck, he's never been in the I fully thought he was. Got it. Like, I didn't. I fully just thought, because they just cut to these brothers constantly.
And you didn't know
and
which one was which.
And they're always telling the story of, and that's when he came in and blah, blah, blah. And like in my brain, all three of them were in the documentary. Like I was just like, and then when that happened, I was like, oh, fuck, you're right. It's only these two.
There was a past tense usage from the wives or something that were like, David was it was David. Yeah. Was could light up a room with a smile, and this one could, and I was like, oh, this dude died.
And I caught that as well, but my brain didn't go to him dying. My brain just assumed that they like divorced or something.
Yeah, true. That's fair.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny though. All the wives thought they had the best one.
Yeah, they all for totally different reasons. They were like, no, I had the best of the triplets and all this stuff, but. So after that,
David's wife didn't have the
yeah. After that, it turned like they all start to realize it, and the reporter who's been writing this story for the New Yorker ends up starting to look at that, and then realizes that these female twins that we talked about, they also had mental health issues. They started to look at it. They discovered that the triplets' mother had mental health issues, that all these twins that were uncovered, all of them had a parent that had mental health issues. So then they started to realize this study is more than just the twins being separated, because all of their parents have been committed and have mental health issues.
More of a
but the other thing is,
and for some weird reason, all of them they were only placed in homes where there was a sister who was 2 years older than them.
It wasn't a weird reason. It was because, the creeper that was like, oh, I was watching their brothers an hour ago. That guy,
Dr. Lawrence Perlman.
Yeah, that guy said
Lawrence Perlman.
He said he stated what, because he knew what to look for, what he was supposed to document.
He's going to sell you a timeshare.
That they weren't just looking at the twins' development; they were looking at the parenting styles, and they knew what those environments were ahead of time because they placed another child in that home and followed the child and waited to see, and so they knew exactly.
Oh, so that 2-year-old sibling wasn't a natural sibling; it was another adopted.
It was another adopted sibling.
Oh fuck,
so
dude!
They adopted out.
That's even more sinister.
So when those families first came, they adopted out a female years prior, in advance, knowing that they were going to place twins in those homes.
Just a probe child,
just so that they have a probe child to assess the situation and categorize them as like affluent or blue collar. Or strict militant, like they knew.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the wealth. Yeah, it was also how they parent.
Parenting styles. Yeah. And so they went through it, and man, I have to say that was fucking heartbreaking, dude. That shit got me. I teared up a little bit on the dude talking about his son committing suicide. That was fucking rough, dude. I was like, oh, this dude's reliving.
Oh, the old skinny dude,
and he's just so frail, dude, and it's just like, oh man.
And he was like the bad father.
Yeah, he was strict.
Like he was like strict and potentially abusive.
Said, maybe I didn't teach him something and like put the blame on him. Oh, dude, it's giving me right now, dude. It was
fucking brutal, dude.
Next subject, bro. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
So, yeah, and then that doctor who did the stuff when he was 24 said, in retrospect, it was undoubtedly ethically wrong.
Yeah,
like even at the time they knew it. Like this is ethically wrong. We shouldn't be doing this, but. You had
to know. You probably felt sneaky at the time, and then in reflection,
well, they did know it was a study that they were doing secretly.
But it's like it's the following orders. It's the Stanford experiment thing. It's the whole like you're doing the thing. This is a doctor. It's a paid experiment. It's through an adoption agency. You don't feel like you must not be anything nefarious. You're not robbing a bank, right? There's no drugs involved. We're not harming the children. We're just watching them. We're documenting.
There's probably more that we don't know.
Yeah, but then
because if it was as simple as what we're talking about. They would just release the fucking files.
Right.
They wouldn't be sealed until fucking
but you have to think
3166.
Too, during those periods of times there were mental institutions and lobotomies and there was all kinds of wild shit going on. People were scrambling the fucking frontal lobe of people through their nose, dude.
MK Ultra.
Yeah, doing wild shit. And so it was the whole statement of it was different times is a valid statement. For sure. But when you look at it,
does it justify it though? Because World War II was a different time too,
and it doesn't doesn't justify the ongoing silence or the cavalier laughing attitude of the people that were involved in the study. That dude
laughing with his crazy, weird, crooked yellow teeth. It was like fucking scary movie guy. That was...
And he's all like sitting...
He was sitting so
like in
weird.
These weird fucking angles. And then like they show the triplets like watching the videotapes of him laughing about shit and like, fuck it. It's just brutal, dude.
Yeah. Great documentary though. Should absolutely, if you like this, you should definitely go ahead and watch the documentary.
I wonder if them finding out about them,
Brad should
the
still
other
watch
ones.
it.
Yeah.
I wonder if them finding out about the other ones was part of the experiment. Like,
who knows, dude?
To see how it read them, how they reunited. Yeah. How they reunited, how they responded to watching video of them.
I mean, whether it was or not,
they were separated,
make the observation and document it. You know what I mean? Maybe. I mean, it's weird. What are you know what? At the end of the thing, when the credits roll too, they said after filming had completed that they did give access to the documents. But it was like 10,000 pages. So the triplets
and it's highly redacted because part of it is they, several of the twins end up reaching out to the university and saying, "How do I get access to it?" And they're like, "Oh, you have to apply for access to this board, and that board is still controlled by the Louise Wise agency, and they just reject everybody and say no, the case is sealed."
But somehow,
but I think it was and I can't remember their names. I have it in my notes, but I'm not finding it. The female twins, who kind of were a little bit ahead of the story of this separation of the study, right? The triplets had come out and done their media blitz, but these female twins seem to be the ones with the first documentary and the first books and all this stuff. And they had tried to get access and were denied access and told the same thing. But then I think the media stuff that they drew that led to that New Yorker article, I think all of that, and because this documentary was being filmed and the twin was on the phone during the filming trying to get access and was denied. But then as they were editing the film and getting ready to release it, they ended up saying, no, okay, you can have access to some of the files.
Redacted information.
And then they redacted a ton of stuff and gave them 10,000 pages of the study.
But I think it said it didn't bring anything conclusive, even after the examination.
And fucking when, like, if everything's redacted and it's 10,000 pages, you're still going through them.
Think about trying to read a 1,000-page novel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With every other word fucking Sharpied out.
Right.
10,000. It's like, now with AI, you could do it, you know.
But it depends on how redacted it was.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like government level redacted and there's like 7 words a page
but
that are
the
Epstein files.
I think that AI is probably pretty good at like deciphering the context of redactions just by predictive. Like
maybe
there's only so
whole
many options.
pages
You know
are
what I mean?
redacted out there.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, yeah. You see the thing on a bunch of the Epstein files, they could like re-redact them and unredact them, and it would come off. Like they.
Oh yeah.
They did the way they
did
the shitty way
they did it on like Adobe freaking
Dumbass.
PDF, and it's like you can just go in and edit it and move stuff out. Like the bubbles on the people's faces they're blocking out, just move them.
Yeah,
off
just move them off.
Yeah.
It's so funny because you just don't anticipate technology in the future. Like, you know what I mean? That's going to happen. Like even the picture of Earth from the moon. If they put it in there and turn the contrast down, there's a green square around the fucking Earth.
What it is though,
like pasted on.
What it is though is
out.
that the people who are doing that don't understand how the graphics programs work. You know what I mean? Like if you take a picture.
Oh, the people that were redacting those Epstein files had no fucking clue what they were doing.
They just need a million of them done.
Yeah.
And so like if you take a picture and you go in Photoshop and you put a square in front of something,
there's
the
metadata there.
The picture's still there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's underneath that square, as opposed to, hey, we deleted that and then put a black thing over it, you know, or deleted that thing. Like so,
there's metadata that says layer 2 black. And you just like get rid of the layer.
Yeah.
And there's applications that can bring all that out and run programs.
Yeah, they needed to just do all that redacting, print the shit.
Yeah. And
then just give everybody a hard copy.
Yeah.
But like
that's the data.
In the 60s, someone like laid the little picture of the Earth on the moon picture and did their Scotch tape thing and took it there. Look at that, John. Looks great. They were like, that looks great. But they had no idea that we were going to be able to scan it into a machine.
Yeah. No, of course not.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, there's a big green square.
AI,
you didn't even cut the shape of the Earth out.
tells you like, this is not authentic.
Yeah. So wild story, like what they were
very sad.
Because at the end of it, they're just like, what exactly were they studying? Were they studying?
There's no closure.
Because at a certain point, it's starting to get too muddy. It's like you're not really studying nature and nurture because that would be the only thing you're studying. Yeah. Now, if you're studying mental health, you're not studying
nature
mental health anymore because nature and you're not studying the difference between levels of like.
There could be a secondary to see if mental illness is inherited, if it's hereditary. You know, does that?
I bet you it was none of that.
It could have it could have been multiple studies using the same subject's data.
But I bet you that was the cover for whatever it really was.
For sure.
Like
because it's like those things are shitty.
Well, look at what happened too. Like look at the 3 twins. Like 2 of them made it through. They battled with mental illness. They were committed on one. Yeah. One was involved in a murder or something. I never found anything more of that.
But they said that other twins from the study had committed suicide as well.
You had 3 shots. One of them didn't make it out alive. One of them it took them over, and the mental illness.
But the other thing too, if they would have grown up together, would that have changed? You know what I mean? Like there's another end of it. Like you don't really know.
Didn't they say that 4 total people from the study had committed suicide?
That I don't recall.
That's pretty wild.
There were multiple. Yeah.
What a mind fuck too for the person, dude. For those triplets, for any of those people. Once you find that out, because what's her name did say at the end, the La Jolla lady said, I think it was La Jolla lady said, should you tell? Like, do you have an obligation to tell now that it's out? At the same time, is it a blessing to not know? Is ignorance bliss? Because you might ruin their life. Because think about being the triplet. Would you rather have not known? Probably. That fucking rest of doing their thing. Once you found that out, shit got real weird. Your whole life was a fucking Truman Show. They were watching you.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's an invalid argument because you've potentially already ruined their lives by doing this weird fucking experiment.
But would you want to know?
Yes, I would.
You'd want to know.
Yeah,
I think you want to know because you know.
know.
But if you didn't know, would the ignorance?
Well, you can't ask them that question then.
Yeah, it's a troubled question. It's like
if someone was like, man, I found.
I'll say this: if you had a happy life and you were married and shit, and you got kids, and you're just doing your fucking thing, you probably don't want to know.
But how are you ever gonna find out?
Like, hey, do you want to know your brother?
Like if someone comes up to you and they're like, hey, there's like a family secret that I've just discovered through all this research that's tied into multiple other families.
It can ruin your life.
It could ruin your life and your mental health. Do you want to know it or do you want to not know it? You're like, well, fucking tell me.
Now you're going to say, tell me.
Like, fucking tell me.
But
like,
in the happiness of the bliss, you wouldn't want to know.
Where was the happiness and bliss? They're fucking killing themselves.
I know.
It's the same thing we talked about. Though, like
there are some people still floating out there that don't know right now.
Right.
And if there was some type of legal obligation to be like, oh, we need to notify these people now that we know, are you doing them a disservice by notifying them at that point?
Does it matter?
I mean, it definitely matters. They could have a happy life if you fucked them up. You told them they're a lab rat.
Even if you wanted to walk some kind of fucking middle line and be like, let's not go out of our way to tell them because it might ruin their lives. But if anybody involved with this study calls and wants access to the study, give them fucking access.
Disclose it.
Like, but that's still not the case. Like, the only reason they gave these guys access is because of media pressure. I'm sure that these people in the know that this documentary is coming out, know that it's being edited, and they're working on redacting. And they're like, fuck, let's redact this shit and give it to them because by the time this comes out, we're going to look like assholes because we didn't even give these triplets.
I mean, I bet there's a definite different perspective for anyone that's actually adopted that watches this documentary.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, fuck, there's a possibility. I don't know.
Right.
I'm adopted.
Right. Am I a triplet?
The other thing is, too, it's going to differ, like, per person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There could be people that felt like maybe they felt like they were a twin and they just didn't have that connect. They had some sort of missing connection.
Like you're going to 23andMe find out. You're like, oh, weird. What the fuck? I got someone over here. Who's this?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it looks just like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can happen. I'm not doing it, man. DARPA's going to engineer a virus just for me, man. I'm not giving them my DNA.
Well, yeah, that's one of those things.
I'm not handing it over.
They're collecting everybody's DNA and they're
I'm like,
it's super tempting to do it just to find out. What are they going to do with it?
I would want to know. But even I want to do the blood test, the fucking one where you just check all your shit because it's good to know. You know what I mean? But I'm just handing them my blood. What are they going to do with my blood?
You do that at a lab anyway.
Yeah. They've already got it.
I would need to.
They did that in the 80s where they did all the thing with your fingerprints and took your pictures. That was actually cataloging children.
Yeah,
for some fucking.
I would need to know because I know that there are different pharmaceutical companies. Like there's been a war going on between pharmaceutical companies and like 4-year like medical colleges trying to be the first one to identify the genomes for certain types of cancer and hereditary issues and fucking whatever, everything that you can think of. They're trying to be the first one, like a mouse, fucking tick. Like everyone's trying to, because if you are the first one to unravel the whole genome, you get to patent it.
Yeah. Right.
And you own that genome.
Oh yeah.
So there, and all these schools have spent decades trying to race against pharmaceutical companies because every time they get one, they immediately make it public domain and everyone has access to it. But the pharmaceutical companies just keep racking them up. Yeah. So potentially if they come up with, if they've identified this particular cancer and they were the ones that got to patent that gene, if they come up with some kind of a genome therapy or whatever, they own the gene and they own the therapy. Like no one else can even fucking do it. Yeah. So that's what makes me paranoid about 23andMe is I would need some ironclad legal shit that says if you are fucking doing my genome, I own my genome.
Yeah.
Because if 23andMe owns that data and owns my genome, that's fucking weird. Like I do not like that at all.
They probably do. Once you send it in, when you sign the thing,
you're probably signing away your DNA. The DNA.
They might quite literally legally own you. They own your DNA.
Well, they would.
That would be a crazy thing.
This is slightly unrelated, but like
send it in, Brent.
It's quite unrelated, but I don't know what made me think about it. Just this medical stuff we're talking about. Did you guys see the thing that they took fruit fly brain cells and then put them in like an agar dish and like connected to them digitally, and they are in a virtual environment? There is a fruit fly that is running off real fruit fly brain cells. A fruit fly is running off actual fruit fly brain cells and navigating a virtual cartoon world where he goes around and eats and does the things that fruit flies do
on the computer.
Well, like 10 years ago,
that's the reverse of what they want to do.
He's in the simulation.
10 years ago, a guy named Kevin Warwick,
what if that's
who's in the UK?
And they didn't program it though.
Here's the thing. Fruit fly another guy did
just this fruit fly stuff.
Another guy took mouse brain cells, cloned them, and then built up enough to create its own neural network, put it into these little plastic robots, and had them start self-learning and driving around in mazes. So now it's an actual biological brain in a little plastic robot driving through fucking mazes that never gets hungry or sleeps or fucking like.
So transferring the consciousness is like starting to get there.
Yeah.
It's not there yet.
No, and this was a long time. And this same guy, Kevin Warwick, he was the first person. He was like one of the first biohackers. He put a chip in his arm, and then he put a chip in his wife's arm. And she was at the university in the UK.
He just starts finger blasting herself.
He went to he went to a university in I want to say MIT maybe.
They played the long game.
They using the fucking internet. They turned on the system, and he would like hold up 2 fingers, and she would feel 2 fingers held up over the internet.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. But I mean,
and then she just
then she
would do this.
Yeah.
She would do this. You know,
that was the
circle. You know, and then
the guy was like secretly.
That was the whole thing.
He played the long game. He became a scientist. He did all this shit and got all the way into his wife. He's like, "Would you like to be part of my experiment? I would like to include you in my work." He's all official. He's got the paper. He's publishing.
Would you like to go on a side quest?
Yeah. And then he just fucking fingers her.
Yeah, and she's jerking him off
remotely.
Like,
she's like, "Stop it! Stop doing it! No! What are you doing, Harold?" He's like,
"I win.
It was worth it." Just a guy. In the end, he is a man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just wait till I can have sex with my mouse robots.
Oh, dude, that is real creepy.
Yeah. Fucking way creepy.
We're gonna get there.
All right. Thank you to Elliot. I can't talk.
El Gato.
I'm not a fucking stroke today. Thank you to El Yucateco Hot Sauce. That is our primary sponsor. They are nutritious and delicious. Put it in your mouth hole. There's 13 flavors. They have it at Vallarta, every major grocery store, Walmart, Target. Albertsons finally has some now. If you've got an Albertsons, which also means Vaughn's probably has it.
I made some great.
That's here.
Pasta
What do they
sauce.
have? Stater Brothers elsewhere. Stater Brothers and whatever else.
Kroger.
Yeah, if you live in another place, go to your fucking place.
Yeah, go to your place.
Yeah, go to your place if you live in another place.
So I made a great marinara sauce, and I put the chiltepine in it, and it was just fucking next level, dude.
I've used the fuck out of that lately. Yeah, I did whoop my own ass with some fucking ghost pepper habanero. I'm not acclimated to ghost pepper apparently because I had XXX. I went to Taco's Weed Show and I took it in the car with me, and I forgot it in the car, so I didn't have any XXX in the house, and I didn't want to walk all the way out to the driveway and go to the car. I was like, fuck it, I'll just grab this, and I put the fucking ghost pepper habanero on there.
Mistake.
Fucked me up. I have not.
Especially if you put the same volume.
Yes.
That's the problem.
I dumped that shit on there, stirred it up, and I was like, I'm not going to waste this whole bowl because this is all I have. This is what I cooked. This was my portion. There's no more extra. I have to eat this. This is my dinner. And it was fucking hot. It was delicious, but my mouth was on fucking fire, dude. Yeah. I was trying to think of other things I could eat after I was done eating because my mouth was just
to calm it down. Yeah.
So, but it's delicious. So go check that out. Also, thank you to Print Dirt Cheap. Go to printdirtcheap.com and 2-day banners. Check it out.
Yep.
And thank you to the patrons.
2-day boners.
Mm-hmm.
Go see your doctor.
Yeah, if you have 2-day boner, you definitely need to talk to the doctor.
That's a different scenario.
Yeah, different scenario. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, is that it?
I think that's it.
Oh, people did comment because we asked about what super fight expansion we should get, and they commented. Most comments were the 80s. They're like, it has to be the 80s. It has to be the 80s. So we got to get the 80s.
We'll get it.
They got it on Amazon. I'll order it up. Get it here. So next show we
for
can
sure.
Do it.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to pick an 80s topic.
Maybe
just to hit
we
just did an 80s topic.
We did.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Damn. That would have worked perfectly.
There's plenty of shit. We'll keep going.
Who's gonna fight though? The triplets fight each other?
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Next week,
maybe the triplets could fight.
They can still fight.
The triplets could fight Dr. Neubauer.
Yeah, who's our? Yeah. Who's whatever we decide, we can try to figure out.
Yeah.
Who the triplets fight.
Yep.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll get that. All right.
Remember, don't be retarded.
Same face, different life, what's up? Like old hands, they don't give a triplets torn out the two blow up. Split, yeah, cut. Same blood, different hoes matched up. Clip on watching every move. Clean dodges to prove what's what. 3 same cries in a hospital night, but they boxed them up, shit them out of sight. Different minds, different dads, different class. Same soul spit like glass. One rich house, one broke street. One got silence, one got heat. Same lab, same walk, same grin, but they never knew the skin they was in. Doctor smiling, notes in the file. Let's observe them just a while. Every visit, fake excuse. Whole life turn to lab use. You feel that pull? Yeah. You feel that glitch? Yeah. Like something missing in a bitch. Mirror looking like a stranger twin, but you don't know where you've been. Split, yeah, cut, ayy. Same face, different life, what's up? Rich apart, but they move the same. Like somebody rigged the game. Split, yeah, cut, ayy. Same thoughts in a different brain. They wrote it down, they watch they grow, but never know what they know. 19 years, then boom, headline. 3 you exist, flatline. Camera slash, world goes wild, but inside still that large child. Same smoke, same drink, same style. Same get behind the smile, but pain don't match the TV hype. Won't win darker than win the fight. 5 stars locked to the future today. True sealed up behind the gate. All that data, all that pain. For a question they couldn't explain. Cut, split. Who you are, which life is. Same DNA, 3 scripts. Got complex and laugh it. Write it down, clip that note. Watch them sing, watch them flow. Science code, no remorse. Humans treat it like a course. Split, yeah, cut, same face, different face. What? We divided just to see what's true. But they broke, but they never knew. Split, yeah, cut, same dark night, all they wrote.